So let's say that we've now identified the employee in question who we would like to bring on as a shareholder, and we've had a think about, had an initial conversation with them, and they're eager. What information should we give to them to allow them to consider the process and take the next steps?
Good question, Tony. So I guess this is a commercial arrangement really, and particularly if it's an investment. So if you're asking the employee to pay market value for these shares, that's an investment to them that they really have a right to request whatever information they want from you to assess that investment and to assess whether they want to come on board. But there's no legal obligation for you to give them any of this information. It's a matter for you to determine what you think is appropriate to allow them to assess the investment potential, and potentially get their own business valuation or share valuation to determine whether the price they're offering you is, the price they're willing to pay. So typically they would ask for profit and loss statements and other financial statements of the company to evaluate the current shares, but also, I guess, get an idea of, how the business might perform in the future.
Yep.
Maybe ask if you've got, business forecasting plans and things like that. That would be probably something that would typically be given. But just remember, when you're giving all this information, you're giving it to an employee at this point in time. They're not a shareholder and they haven't necessarily, agreed to come on board. So you'd want to put some form of confidentiality agreement in place if your current employment contracts don't already cover that, because this is information that typically you wouldn't provide an employee. But yeah, it's a matter of what you're comfortable with really, and what you think is appropriate for the employee to get access to work out whether they want to come on board and work with you in the future. So yeah, again, it's really a matter between the parties, what they agree, what the employee asks for and what you agree to give them, you think is appropriate.
Very good.